Hello, my name is John Bannon. I'm an attorney and philosopher. In today's video, I'm going to explain how superdeterminism destroys David Hume. This is what they failed to teach you in college philosophy class. When I talk about superdeterminism, I'm referring to a unique version of superdeterminism proven by Swedish theoretical physicist Dr. Johan Hansen in 2020. You can find his published proof in the peer-reviewed physics journal Physics Essays, volume 33, number 2, June of 2020. Begins on page 216 and ends on page 218. It is entitled Bell's Theorem and Its Tests, Proof that Nature is Superdeterministic, Not Random. Now, Dr. Hansen's version of superdeterminism says that we live in a predetermined static block universe without cause and effect in physics or physical causation or probabilistic causation. So I listed 6 points of Hume's philosophy, and I'm going to systematically go through them and show you how superdeterminism disproves each and every one of them, so that you can get the general understanding that superdeterminism destroys the philosophy of David Hume. So, number 6, if the complexity of God's mind is uncaused, then why not stop and say the complexity of the universe is uncaused? Well, um, because God is the creator of whatever he decides to create among an infinite amount of logically possible physical realities, then certainly one can argue that God's mind must contain the complexity of an infinite number of possibilities for physical reality. However, the universe is different than God. The universe is created and defined as a particular state of physical reality to the exclusion of all other of the infinite possible states of physical reality. So the universe is simply one defined state out of an infinite number of possible states known to God. And because the universe, in order to exist as excluded from all those other possibilities, must be defined by God, that's what we call the creation of the universe, or the causing of the universe. Whereas God is in a defined state, and so God doesn't need to be created or caused. Number 5, we cannot infer that the universe was created. So Hume says, well, maybe the universe is a self regulated entity. But superdeterminism says that's impossible, Hume, because there's no cause and effect in physics that would allow for a self regulated universe. Well, Hume says, well, the universe could be the result of randomness. But superdeterminism says no, the universe has to be created atemporally, and that creator must be supremely intelligent because that creator must know of and understand everything it creates before it creates it, which includes advanced technologies that appear in the block universe. So God would have to be supremely intelligent because God would have to be more intelligent than the most sophisticated things that appear in the universe in order to create those things. So creation must be by a supremely intelligent creator and not a supremely stupid random creator. Number four, you can't know God even if he did exist. But superdeterminism says, well, you can know God because God predetermined the block universe. And that means that he must have predetermined Christianity to be the predominant world religion in terms of numbers of members. And from that position of predominance, one can reasonably infer that God planned for humanity to understand that Christianity is his teaching. And therefore, one can reasonably infer knowledge of God through knowledge of Christianity. Number three, miracles violate the laws of physics, so witness testimony of miracles is less compelling. So David Hume's point here was simple. Oh, which are you more likely to believe? The testimony of someone who says a miracle happened, or the belief that that person is mistaken because miracles would involve a violation of the laws of physics, which never happens. So, uh, this person's testimony would be less compelling than the scientific fact that violations of the laws of physics simply do not occur. Um, However, under superdeterminism, miracles can be predetermined to occur in the static block universe without violating the laws of physics. Now, there's different sorts of miracles. For instance, you have a more uh, ordinary type of miracle, which would be a extremely coincidental ordering of events. Like, you need money to go to college and you don't have any money, but a coincidence occurs and your uncle dies and leaves you $1 million so that you could go. Well, some would consider that a miracle, but it's really just a coincidental ordering of events. Some coincidences can seem so utterly coincidental that they have the flavor of a miracle. Well, those ordering of events, that type of miracle, can be predetermined because God predetermines the ordering of events in the static block universe. The more extreme case of a miracle, like turning water to wine, for instance, would appear to be a violation of the laws of physics. However, not necessarily. You can actually have such extraordinarily unlikely events to occur in a predetermined universe at a particular time and place without violating the laws of physics. For instance, under the laws of quantum mechanics, there is something called quantum tunneling, which allows uh, even particles to uh, transport from one place to another. Uh, and that sort of quantum fluctuation is technically within the laws of physics. And that sort of quantum fluctuation could conceivably produce any sort of biblical miracle that you want, including changing water to wine, for instance, because you just need to rearrange the atoms and molecules in the water in order to produce wine or bring other materials from the outside. And all of that can be done through quantum tunneling. Now, that would be, under ordinary laws of physics, astonishingly unlikely to ever occur. In fact, you'd have to wait longer than the universe will even exist for that to happen. But technically, under the laws of physics, it can happen at any time, which means that God, in predetermining the universe, can technically have it happen at any time and place he predetermines it to occur. So it is possible under predetermined laws of physics for biblical miracles to actually occur. So just because a miracle appears to violate the laws of physics, in under superdeterminism, there is a mechanism through which it could stay consistent with the laws of physics and yet still occur. Number two, no amount of factual information can logically necessitate a moral conclusion. So Hume is saying that we only have facts in the universe, but the facts don't tell you morally what should be the case. They just tell you the is, not the ought to do. But under superdeterminism, God predetermined Christianity to be the predominant world religion in terms of numbers of members. And from that, one can infer that God intended Christianity to be the moral teaching for humanity. So one can reasonably infer the ought under superdeterminism. Number one, we cannot know metaphysical truths or the nature of reality. Hume basically said that we are stuck in a universe of our imagination. We can't get out of our own understanding or imagination of what the universe is in order to look at the actual universe itself, the thing that is, or the metaphysical truths that are responsible for the creation of the universe. We can't get out of our own heads in order to examine these external subjects. Therefore, we can't know anything about them. But Hume is wrong because under superdeterminism, human thoughts are a predetermined aspect of the block universe. And that shatters Hume's belief that imagination has no connection to physical reality. It does. Human thoughts are an aspect of predetermined physical reality, not external to it. So it is possible that human beings can be predetermined to have thoughts that give objective truths about physical reality, the thing in itself, and or its metaphysical creator or causes. Okay, so I hope you learned something. You certainly didn't learn this in college philosophy class. Uh, and I'll give you a second to look at the board. All right, until next time, take care.